Hey everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear, and we're upstairs at the table like we normally do. We're gonna try something a little different though. We're gonna start putting out videos from my bench downstairs where I normally do all of my work and servicing guns. We're gonna start a line of videos that is going to help you become a more confident, better paintball player when it comes to managing your own gear. How to fix your guns, common problems that I see with equipment, how to fix tanks, loaders, all those things that we always get questions about. Hopefully these videos can help you solve your own problems and not be relying on someone else to do for you. So I'm trying to help you out, make you a more confident, better paintball player. So watch the videos. We're gonna upload all sorts of content. Thanks for watching, ansgear.com. All right, so we're looking at an M3 Plus right now. This one was sent in by a customer who's had a couple different problems with it. Has sent it to Dye. Dye's looked at it, sent it back to him. They still having issues with it. So we're gonna try to help him out and just see if we can figure out what the problem is. He's got a leak, I believe, from like the solenoid or manifold area, which is the same problem that he's been experiencing multiple times. So let's get this over there. Power on. Battery's good. Everything seems good on that side right there. First thing I'm going to do is check reg pressure. Just make sure we're not over pressurizing. M3 Pluses tend to run about 115 psi or so. It's, you know, they vary. Definitely a leak coming from up there. Pressure's at 117, so that's not an issue. Dwell's at 16, that's normal. All right, so let's try to figure this out. The first thing I'm going to, I don't imagine that it's a bolt leak in any capacity, just because the way it felt like it was shooting right there. But what I'm going to do, just to be safe, is grab another M3 Plus bolt and throw it in the gun and just make sure that we're not that our bolt isn't causing our leak. It'd be very rare that a bolt's going to cause a leak like that through the bottom, but it's possible. It's always possible. So we'll see. Is it just me, or does my camera look like it's a little screwy right now? That seems better, right? Didn't it seem like it was kind of crooked? All right, I'm gonna pause it real quick and go grab a bolt real fast, so hold on. Okay, so I went out to the gun wall out front and I grabbed a bolt out of just an M3 Plus that's on the wall out there. And I do actually see a difference right off the bat. You see how the stock bolt right here is all the way back and it has no spring to it, right? Whereas this bolt, spring is in there. So this one is missing its spring, which is strange. Definitely shouldn't be like that. So I'm going to put this one in. I don't think that that's actually the problem, but you never know. I would be very much surprised if that was actually it. Yeah, same leak. Bolt sounds better though than this one does, but still the same leak.
Rory, my papers. What?
Somebody just came by looking for something from me. Didn't realize that I was recording. So I'm going to pull this back cap off of here. I'm going to pull this one off of here. You can see that there's a spring right there. And that spring is completely missing in this gun right here. So this, for some reason, is completely missing its bolt spring. And that's one thing, which isn't a plus. I mean, I don't like to see that, but that shouldn't cause it not to. Obviously, it didn't cause the leak, but that's an issue right there. So let's set that up here. We're gonna put this one over here because this one goes to a gun that's out front. And then let's take this apart. Start trying to figure out where our leak is coming from. Probably my least favorite grips to take off. You can already see that there's a rip in this set right here. And that's, you know, not uncommon because the way you have to lean this thing forward and then grab it and pop it up. The grips rip all the time. All right. So we are going to gas this up. I'm going to use this one because I know that that's got all of its parts in there. And then I'm going to gas this up again. Try to just feeling around. And it is, again, from the front right there. Now let's pull our frame off. We're kind of just going to look inside and see if we can see anything. Now, as I do this, I don't need the gun powered up or anything like that. So what I like to do is get rid of the battery and get rid of the charging port, just because they're always hanging in the way. So I'm just going to move them out of the way, and then I'm going to take it apart. It's just me, or do die screws always seem a little loose? Like a little loosey-goosey. This is my standard key, which I use all the time. And I know it's not the wrong one. This is a metric one right here, and this metric one is too big to fit in here properly. It's just a very weird feeling on their screws. It always feels like you're going to strip. I mean, look how much play I've got on this screw. This is from side to side right here. Before this, it encounters the edge of the screw head to release it. Now, again, you shouldn't be cranking these things down anyway, but it's just very strange. All right. Let me see if I have in my little bag of tricks here, which every once in a while I get lucky, and I have Alright, so I might have an adapter that allows me to just hook directly up to this. You can see this is the one I made for the die dam. I might need to slightly modify this one for the M2 so that I can gas this up with no, what's the word I'm looking for here? With no frame. That's what I'm trying to say. I might need to do that. I might need to change this around. This one might work. This one's too big. I don't even use this one anymore. So at this point, I'm going to leave this out, and I might change that sometime tomorrow because I just don't have anything for it right now. But what I am going to do is, I know the manifold's leaking. somewhere up here. And so I'm going to pull the manifold apart and just take a look at it and try to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to unplug my solenoid, which all of this wiring that you see right here should be tucked underneath the board. It should not be up atop like this. It should be underneath here, and it should be safe so that it doesn't get pinched or smashed or anything like that. Screws are a little loose. I don't think that would cause it though. You can see, it's got the blue manifold on there, so it has the updated manifold. I don't see any signs of like debris or dirt or anything like that that would cause a potential problem right there. I don't see any deformities to the manifold underneath. So let's just take this off though. And set that off to the side. Let's go ahead and pull the pilot valve off. I mean, it could be the pilot valve, which I think is what's the problem that he's had before. Gasket on the pilot valve looks okay. Pull this off. Whenever you're working with solenoids, be very, very careful. What'll happen is if you pull too hard, this will pop apart and you might lose some pieces or things go flying off. So that looks okay. The spring is good on that. But let's pull this out. Again, you want to be super careful with these. And there is definitely on this O-ring right here, it's really hard to see, but right here, from here to here, part of that O-ring is missing. It's actually sheared itself off right there. See if I can get that one off and you can actually see it. Oh, you can see that. So this side of the O-ring right there has a flat spot on it. And it's causing that to wear off. So what is that? What do I think about that? I don't see any, like I don't see an imperfection in the spool itself. It's not like wobbly, it's not out of round. It doesn't look like one side's high or low. It's very strange that just a piece of the O-ring would take off like that. Let me see if there's something inside here. As I pull this spool shaft out, one thing I do notice is the lack of grease on it. I mean, even if I wipe my fingers on it, I don't really feel it on there. And then maybe that could be part of it, that it's so dry inside there that as the spool is trying to move back and forth, it's just clipping. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you on that one. But, I mean, obviously we can see that this O-ring is definitely damaged. And a damaged O-ring on a spool shaft inside there is going to leak. So I'm going to go grab an O-ring real quick and I will be right back. Okay, so I grabbed a new O-ring that is intact all the way around. And I'm going to put it on here. And again, these are O-rings that are not just completely cylindrical all the way around. It's not like one tube that they've joined together. It is flat. So it is round like an O-ring, but flat like a pancake. So you have to make sure that you get these in their groove properly, or they will potentially have that problem. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe this O-ring, when it was put in, was twisted slightly and didn't fit the groove properly. And then as it was running, it just clipped off that edge and stopped working. I don't know. Tough to say. But let's put this back together and see what happens here. So I'm going to grease this all up. Make sure that everything is nice and healthy inside there. Spool spring. And then what I'm going to do with this, obviously, is, well, maybe not obviously, but what I'm going to do is put this back together and we're going to see if it works. But also I'm going to run the gun a bunch and see if I can get that O-ring to break again. Or not, or to wear, I guess, funny. And then I would know that the manifold possibly is machined incorrectly, which would be very strange. Again, not impossible to have happen, but very weird. When you put these pilot valves onto this manifold here, make sure you don't over tighten them. Not so much on this side right here, but on this side you can see that there's a little crack in the pilot valve right there, which I see all the time. You just gotta be careful with it. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of this on here like that. Put that on there. I'm going to try to put this in the right way. You should really only have just this end piece poking up when you're done. Everything else should go underneath. There's like a little pocket down in here, a little groove that a lot of this wiring can fit down into. And once it's kind of trained to get down in there, it should come out again. just trying to protect the wiring and keep it from getting pinched or getting smashed. Plug it in. And bring it down. Just like that. All right, so we've got our manifold screws in. Just give that a tighten up on the bottom down there. All right, let's go ahead and put our frame back on real quick. I always like to feel it once. I'll put the frame on and kind of feel if I'm getting any resistance anywhere, and then go ahead and put the frame all the way on. All right, I've got the bolt I pulled off the gun on the wall in right now. I'm gonna put my battery in. Power on. Eyes are off. See how we did. Let's see if that one tiny O-ring, this thing, was what was causing the problem in the gun. Fingers crossed. Ta-da! That's all it was just that little O-ring right there. So what I'm going to do is over the next day or so, every half hour, I'll gas the gun up and shoot it, a couple hundred times, see where we end up as far as wear goes. I'm trying to create this problem again. I don't think I'll see the problem again, but you never know. And you won't ever know until you shoot it a bunch and see what happens. So that's a pretty, the M3 Plus is not a really crazy gun. Looking from the bolt, you don't have an LPR anymore. The solenoid's very user-friendly and user-serviceable. So all those things are pretty straightforward when it comes to servicing this gun. And let me just check our pressure again, 120. So right in our normal operating wheelhouse as far as pressures go. So I'll look at this gun again later on and see if I can cause the problem. But other than that, the leak that you saw coming through there was caused by that O-ring. And we have to do something about this bolt because the bolt's missing some parts. So we'll find those bolts or that parts and put them in there. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.